Hello, my dear students. I am Adityash Chakraborty, lecturer in electrical engineering of Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Science and Technology. Today, I am going to discuss about the part 1 lecture of hydrostatics and pumps of elements of mechanical engineering. The first slide is the introductory idea about the hydraulic pump. A hydraulic pump is a mechanical device that converts mechanical power into hydraulic energy. It generates the flow with enough power to overcome the pressure induced by the load. So next, before going to the deep study, we have to know what are the different types of pressure. So at first, we have to know what is atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure, also called the barometric pressure, or the pressure measured by the barometer. So the force per unit area exerted by an atmospheric column, that is the entire body of air above the specified area. Atmospheric pressure can be measured with a mercury barometer. Hence, the commonly used synonym of barometric pressure. So, what is the barometric pressure? The pressure of the mercury column, that is in CGS 76 centimeter of height. That means the pressure which is given by the mercury column, the height of the column is 76 centimeter. So which indicates the height of the column of mercury that exactly balances the weight of the column of atmosphere over the barometer. Next, the absolute pressure. So definition of absolute pressure is the pressure of having no matter inside a space. So that means a space is which create the vacuum, or a vacuum space, or you can say a perfect vacuum. Measurements taken in absolute pressure use this absolute zero as their reference point. So the reference point is the absolute zero, so where no pressure is given. The best example of an absolute reference pressure is the measurement of barometric pressure. So that is the absolute pressure. Now, the next slide is the gauge pressure. So gauge pressure is a measurement of pressure relative to atmospheric pressure. For this measure of pressure, the 0 point is said to be at 1 atm. 1 atm means 1 atmospheric pressure. So this relationship is shown in gauge pressure, is often used in everyday situation. For example, the tire pressure is measured relative to the atmospheric pressure. When a car drives up a mountain, the gauge pressure goes up and the atmospheric pressure decreases. So what is the tire pressure? When the atmospheric pressure is low, then the tire internal pressure of air of the tire is increases. So when a car is drives up into a mountain, what will happen? Then the atmospheric pressure is lowered, and for that very reason the gauge pressure is increased. So then the atmospheric pressure is decreases. So now you can see here the relation between the absolute pressure, gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure. So the absolute pressure is the summation of gauge pressure and atmospheric pressure. So when the gauge pressure is increased, then the atmospheric pressure is reduced, or you can say the vice versa. When the atmospheric pressure is increased, then the gauge pressure is reduced. So in case of the tire, when the atmospheric pressure is reduced, then the air pressure inside the tire is increased. So that means the gauge pressure is increased. So that is the relation between absolute pressure, gauge pressure, and atmospheric pressure. Now, the pressure at a point. So, consider a fluid at rest as shown in the figure. So, at first you have to see the figure. Here's the figure, and this is the pressure. Okay. So now, consider a fluid at rest in the figure from around the point of interest P is in the fluid. Let us pull out a small wedge of dimension dx into dz into ds. So here you can see a wedge. So that is dz, it is dx, and that is ds. And at first I have already told that this is the fluid where the pressure is given. Let the depth normal to the plane of paper be B. So that is the plane. That is the plane. That is B. In sum of the derivation, we choose Z to be the vertical coordinates. This is consistent with use of Z as the elevation or height in many applications involving atmosphere or an ocean. Let us now mark the surface and body force acting upon the wedge. So here, this is the Z. So these two axis, one is Z axis, one is X axis. Okay, so dz is lies in the Z axis, dx lying in the X axis, and the d is the pressure which is given by a fluid, a center of a body, that is dA. This point, this is the pressure, and this is the fluid. Now, the surface force acting on the three faces of the wedge are due to the pressure PS, that is PZ and PN, as shown in the above figure or previous figure. You can see here this is the PN, PZ and PX. This is the pressure. These forces are normal to the surface upon which they act. We follow the usual convention that compression pressure is positive in sign. We again remind ourselves that since the fluid is at rest, there is no shear force acting. In addition, we have a body force, the weight W of the fluid within the wedge acting vertically downwards. So this pressure or force which are normal to the surface upon which they acts. So you can see here, these are the normals. This Px is the normal upon this surface, Pz is also normal, and Pn is also normal. So summing the horizontal and vertical force we have, that is summation of Fx equals to 0, that is Px dZb minus Pnb ds sin theta equals to 0, same as summation of Fz, that is Pz dxb minus Pnb ds cos theta minus W equals to 0. So one is the cos component, one is the sin component, and cos component which lies in the x-axis and sin component which lies in the y-axis. So we know that, so from this equation we show that this is the Pz, this is lies in the x-axis, so it is the cos component, and that is the sin component. So here you can see the force X is the sin component and Z is the, that is given by the Pz is the cost component. Okay, nothing, and from that ds sin theta equals to dz and ds cos theta equals to dx. So we have, after simplification, px equals to pn and pz equals to pn plus half pg dz. So you can see actually what is the pressure and which is given to the body. Now we note that the pressure in the horizontal direction does not change, which is consequence of the fact that there is shear in fluid at rest. In the vertical direction, there is a change in pressure proportional to the density of the fluid. So when the density of the fluid is increased, the pressure is also increased. An acceleration due to gravity and difference in elevation, and it is also changed by the help of the gravity. Now if we take the limit as the wedge volume decrease to 0, that is the wedge collapse to the point P, we have Ps equals to Pz equals to Pn equals to P. This equation is known as Pascal's law. It is important to note that it is valid only for a fluid at rest. In the case of a moving fluid, pressure in different direction could be different depending upon the fluid acceleration in different direction. Hence, for a moving fluid, pressure is defined as an average of 3 normal stresses acting upon the fluid element. These are the Px, Pz and Pn. Okay. So that's all. Thank you.